everyone. I swear I forget to grab an instrument at the start of every stream. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about my new segment on the channel TAQS, just to get that started, and then we're going to go into the stock market update. But before I get anything started, I just want to say that up in the top corner there, you can click on the eye icon and you can vote in the poll for the stock market that helps fluctuate the stock market. I like to say that at the start of the stream because I know some people don't watch towards the end, but it's an important part of the channel, so I'd like to mention it. So we're going to get right into the talk about TAQS. So TAQS is it's a game that I am facilitating, and it is somewhat like Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm going to start off with an explanation of what you're seeing here on the screen. And if you want to see the first installment of this, it's actually up already. If you're watching this after the live stream, I'll put a link up in the corner right now where you can click on that and go check it out. But for right now, I'm just going to give a brief overview of what this is, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some ideas that I have that I plan to implement when playing this game. So you're going to see some things here that you might recognize if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons or any type of statistics-based storytelling game. So what we have is we have some classes, and these are essentially what your starting character would be equipped with. So these are the statistics for any specific class. We have health, attack, defense, luck, charisma, agility, craftsmanship, awareness, strength, which is involved with how much you can carry, and magic. So I have some classes that I have created, but this is open to expansion throughout playing this game on this channel. And I realized I'm an idiot and did not get my charging cable, so I will actually be right back. Sorry about that. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too big of a delay. As I was saying, we have classes, and I went through the different statistics here. But what is cool about this is I've set it up so that you can see which classes are specialized in a specific statistic. So, like here, the scientist is good at making things and is pretty aware of his environment, his or her, and whereas the engineer is also pretty good at making things, but some of the other statistics are a little spread out. Like the engineer has a little bit more health than the scientist to begin off, and the mage is somewhat of a glass cannon in the sense that the mage has a lot of magic, but little to no defense and little attack. So these are just some things that probably if you watch the first installment, you'll get that idea. But I just wanted to reiterate these. So we also have a species that you can pick, and like I said, this is open to expansion. And these are just the attributes associated with up here. These attributes in green are the ones that go up if you select that species, and these attributes in red are the ones that go down if you select that species to begin with. So what that means, there's no specific benefit to picking any particular species in terms of gaining statistics. This is because I have specifically mapped it out so that each species only gains and loses the same amount. Now, if you do watch the video, the first installment, you'll notice that my girlfriend, with her starting character, actually ended up with a total of 104. This is because I made it a standard that statistics cannot go below 0, and also a slight addition to that, that strength cannot go below 1. This is kind of just reasonable for gameplay reasons, because you should be able to carry one thing at the minimum, and but other things like defense, it's possible to just have no defense, so you just immediately take damage when something attacks you, and so that makes sense. But not being able to carry anything kind of is confusing. So that's the general overview of what's going on here. So here I have my girlfriend's character she created, Lady Miara, the elf siren, and you can see that some of these statistics are slightly different from the base trait of the siren, because they are accommodating for these ups and downs based off of the fact that she is an elf. So, and then this was my condition, that you do have one inventory slot, even if you would have gone into negative numbers based off the true statistics. So that's why she has 104, but considering that she has 0 defense and no craftsmanship and 1 strength, I think it's a fair trade-off that there's a slight a slight advantage in terms of power level. So right now I have, she's just on the character creation, so that's basically what everybody's first episode is going to be when people come on the stream, is character creation. So we actually went through, and I can show you in Paint the character that she created. So I'm gonna have to open it, but the characters that are created are not going to be drawn in as much detail in the future, but here we go. So this was the character that she created, just to give an idea of what the character looks like. And so we drew this in black and white on stream, and then I made this better in off stream, so that this can actually be like the title card for the stream when we are doing another installment. But this is something that I'm going to try and make a standard, is that we will create a sort of image of the character, and then after that, that will be kind of the image that we go off of for the rest of the stream. So from now, I'm just going to open up the map, and we're going to get some idea of what this game actually is. So what ideas that I'm planning to implement is that I want there to be some sort of unit-based distance system. So what I'm doing is, as opposed to just sort of generally trying to keep track of where everything is, I'm going to actually keep everything on a map. And so on this large map, we will have the landmarks. So we have the 2 starting either castle or village, and I can zoom in so you can look at these a little better if you want. But I think I actually passed it. I need to go down. There we go. So this is Jonoberg. Sorry, Onajaberg. And then over here we have Genovia. I believe I passed it. There we go. So if I put this there and then zoom in, there you go. So there's Genovia. And Megan decided to start in Genovia. No relation to the Princess Diaries version. But what I plan to do is have this map be populated by the stories that are being told in each session of the game. So the episodes won't be too long. I'm not planning on doing hour-long discussions, but if it's something where the flow is right, I'm not going to ruin things until there's an actual stopping point. But what you should be able to see is that actual landmarks will start showing up on this map as we progress the story. So what's going to happen is that every single person playing the game will be on this map. Not necessarily that person will physically be on this map, but whenever they play the game, this is the map that everything will be based on. So right now, we don't know much about it because not much has been told in terms of the story. But as the story progresses, this map will be populated, and we will see a greater picture grow out of this. I am also planning to do city maps. So what I'm going to do is every time I'm doing anything on the stream where I'm drawing, it's going to be crude and fast. And so I'll try to get the general shape, I'll try to get the general idea of what's going on. But what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to go back and clean up those pictures so that the next time we have a stream, you will have a good idea of what did happen. So there's going to be three tiers of picture drawing here. There's going to be the world map, which will be a slow progression showing how things expand and will actually be true to the distance that is necessary to get from place to place. And then we will have a town map, which will be at each location. So at each location, there will be a individual picture that will be somewhat like this, but will be zoomed in so that you can just see the town, so that you can see landmarks within the town. Perhaps there's a tavern or some sort of shop you can go to. Then those will be landmarks on the map, and we can get an idea of where things are in the town. And I plan to incorporate that into the actual gameplay, so that people can go from place to place and maybe in a reasonable manner move from one side of the town to the other side of the town, accomplishing whatever they need to do. And then the third tier that I was talking about is going to be the actual event drawings. So these event drawings will never be cleaned up. They are going to be speed drawings. They may even be stick figures if necessary. But say someone is battling a beast, then that person, I want to create a visualization for the stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a blank paint screen, and then I'm just going to start drawing whatever's happening. And what's cool about this is if I set it up correctly, the people playing the game will sorry, I should say this a different way. If I set it up correctly, the people watching the stream will have more information than the people playing the game. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be crunching numbers on my calculator for random numbers. So I'm going to be using random number generation for a lot of this as opposed to dice rolling, just because it's a little bit faster and I may be able to do it mid conversation. But I am going to have random numbers generate and then use those to populate the statistics that are involved in a specific event. So let's say you were going to battle a dragon, and I would start drawing that dragon immediately once I mentioned it. But then after I crunch the statistics, I might put its health, attack, and defense over top of its head in the picture. Now this is information that the stream will have, but the person playing the game will not have. So the stream may know that it's a bad idea to attack this, but the person playing may not necessarily know that. Without having some sense of awareness. So this is where the awareness skill might come into play. Awareness is going to be something where they may choose to inspect the creature before attacking, and then they would have some information going into that fight, as opposed to sort of gaining the information based off of how long it takes to accomplish something like taking down a dragon. And also, in terms of awareness, I'm also going to have a minimum awareness for viewing the map. So in the start, I'll let people look at the map in order to pick a starting location, but from there on, until they reach a certain level of awareness, they cannot go back and view the map or ask questions about the map necessarily. So, I mean, obviously people will be able to remember things just from experience, but in terms of asking me for guidance in terms of how to get from one place to another, they will have to do that on their own. So I think this is an interesting mechanic, and I'm looking for some feedback on this because I do plan on starting this thoroughly over the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, I'm thinking about having a double feature. So I'm going to talk to my girlfriend about whether she wants to do the second segment of it on Saturday, And I'm also talking to my friends Dan and Osi, who have been on the stream before, to do some covers about coming on and starting their own adventure. But that would probably be another character creation video because that would be the first session with them. So I'm going to see if that works out, but let me know what you think about that. And also, if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on how things are going to happen in this game, please let me know because I'm it's in the sort of beta stage at the moment. So I want to make sure that that we're getting a good system going. And so the last note that I'll say is the actual gameplay. I have something, so I'm gonna put the Excel sheet back up here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what I want to do with these statistics. So things like health are pretty straightforward. So if you're being attacked by something, then obviously there's a chance that your health may go down, and there will be some regeneration. There could be some artificial regeneration based off of possibly eating something, but this will be something that's in the moment. But things like attack and luck and charisma and all these things are going to be slightly different from how I think most people normally play like a Dungeons and Dragons esque storytelling game. So this was something that I just kind of thought up the other night, but I think that this is going to be a turn-based. Well, okay, so turn-based systems aren't anything revolutionary. So that's basically meaning like if I'm playing as a character, then I'll go, and then the enemy will go, and then I'll go again, and it's a back and forth like that. But what I'm thinking is that um, on each turn, the statistics you used previously will not be available. So what I mean by that is, let's say you wanted to attack this creature, like there's some dragon that you're fighting. If you want to attack this creature and you're Megan or Lady Miara, um, then you have 12 attack to work with. What I'm going to say is that when if you say you want to use all 12 of your attack, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a random number generator and pick a number between 1 and 12. Oh, or sorry, between 0 and 12. So if I go ahead and click this, then you can see it rolled an 8, which is pretty good considering that the maximum attack is 12. That's 66% of the full attack. So, I mean, that's to be expected. But what I'm saying with the turn-based system is that the next turn that you have to make a move, you will not have those 12 attack points to use. So you could choose to roll 6 attack and then 6 again. Um, so this is just something I wanted to throw in to make it a little bit more active with the decision making and to throw in this kind of random chance effect to it. But also with the luck statistic, I want to make it so that the luck statistic can be used as a tool of ensuring that you hit higher. And this can be used in other circumstances as well. Perhaps if you're using charisma in a conversation, because this would also be a turn-based event. So if you were talking to somebody, you'd be using your charisma, and so what I'm going to do is the luck will determine the minimum that you can score. So since I can type in here 0 through 12, if you wanted to use 3 luck and you were going to roll all 12, then I would replace this 0 with a 3, and I would click that again, and oddly enough, we got another 8. But I can assure you that is a completely random system, or pseudo-random, sorry if you're a math major out there. But that is the system that I am planning to use for events in the game. So I think that is a full description of what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to drag on too long because you will see it in action if you're watching this weekend or in the weeks to come. I should also mention that I'm planning to try and do this every single Sunday with somebody, assuming that I can get someone available, but considering that I do live with my girlfriend and she's playing the game, odds are that she should be available most weekends. But I am going to try to cycle through some people playing the game so that we get some variety in terms of the storytelling, and perhaps the map is being propagated in many different directions. So that's all I'm going to say on TAQS. By the way, if you didn't catch, TAQS stands for Tale Adventure Quest Story. I just thought that sounded stupid, so I made it into an acronym, and now it sounds cool. Um, but that is the whole segment for TAQS, and we're going to be moving into the stock market. So, like I said, if you have not voted, if you've never voted in the stock market before, what you need to do is go up into the top right corner of the video, and you'll be able to click on that eye icon, and a little poll will pop down, and you can pick between four options, which are red, yellow, green, and blue. Now, after that, it works just like any other stock market. The user input makes the stock fluctuate, but then the people playing the stock market are just looking at those fluctuations, buying in, selling out. So here we can see the current standings, and so I am going to update the stock market. I will start with red this time. I'm not sure which one I started with last time. We are going to put red in, and red got a 50%, yellow got a 0%, green got a 0%, and blue got a 50%. So this is a pretty big change from from the trends that have been happening. And so we're going to get this random market factor. This random market factor is a number between 0 and 50. And that number is 35, which for once is above 25, meaning that this is a bad day in the market. So we can see that yellow has taken a big hit, green has taken a big hit, red has taken a significant rise. Well, not necessarily too significant. It's only 15, but it's a pretty big hit, a pretty big rise. And blue is continuing up. So I'm going to click New Market, zero out the market factor, and we're going to go check the scoreboard. So we can see that Megan has now dropped back below 500,000. Even Steven is still over the 200,000 mark. And I think that I stayed relatively even with what I had before, because I have a pretty big investment in yellow, but I also have a huge investment in red. So yellow went down and red went up, but yellow went down more. So that's the significant part. We're going to take these values and put them into the historic data. So 120, 200, so 120, 200, and then 183, 322, 183, 322. So we can see that the stock market has changed, but how has it changed? Now I have updated it, and you can see that yellow and green have taken a hit. Red is kind of evening out here, and blue is continuing its trend in the upwards direction. Although it was a fairly bad day in the market, this trend is doing fairly well in terms of blue, and red kind of is just even the whole time. But we'll see if this trend continues in the weeks to come, because that would mean my investment was a good choice. So there isn't much more I need to say. I don't know if I'm going to make any changes in what I have here. Perhaps I'd want to sell out of blue, but I don't know that I'd necessarily want to buy back into anything else. So I think I'm going to hold out and see if any of these drop down a little bit more before I choose to buy any more stock. So that is the whole update for today, but I want to thank you guys for watching. And like I mentioned, I'm trying to see if I can get a double feature this weekend, so we should have a stream Saturday and Sunday. And then from then on, you can expect a normal stream on Saturday and then a TAQS stream on Sunday. So that's the goal, but I'm not sure if that's going to go off. But like I said, any feedback on anything you've heard here today is greatly appreciated. But until then, I will be signing off. So thank you for watching.